Hello and welcome back to another of these videos. I haven't done them in a while, but it is Wrestlemania. Wrestlemania, baby! Woo! As Big Show once said. Yes, it's Wrestlemania 39 time. And I thought, even though it's a week away, I thought I might as well book what I think will happen with everything. So I'm going to be doing, it's quite a bumper special. I'll be doing NXT, Stand and Deliver, and then WrestleMania Night 1 and 2, from what is announced so far. So I'll be starting with NXT. Well, technically, what would be first would be the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which happened on SmackDown. And for me, I think the winner for that, because Bobby Lashley's been put into it, I think they're just going to give the win to Bobby, because they need to throw him a bone because of the Bray Wyatt stuff, because Bray's not going to be on Mania anymore. So they might as well give Bobby something to do. And out of everybody else, the only other viable winner is probably LA Knight or Karrion Kross, but more likely LA Knight or Bobby Lashley. But I think LA Knight's earmarked for Money in the Bank, so that's just on me. Anyway, NXT Stand and Deliver 2023. There are 7 matches on the card. So I'll go from bottom to top. So Chase University, so Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, and Thea Hale, and Tyler Bate, versus Schism, Joe Gacy, Jagger Reed, Rip Fowler, and Ava. Ava is The Rock's daughter. Now, the winner of this match gains control of Chase University. And the issue here is that the thinking is that more than likely Duke Hudson is going to turn on Chase University to cost them the control of the university, and then there'll be like a long thing where like Andre Chase has to get it back, and then there'll be like a big like hooray type thing when he topples Duke Hudson or Joe Gacy to get it back, which I think is going to happen. So, and considering it's The Rock's daughter's first match, I think they're going to give it to Schism, which I don't want to because I like Chase U, but yeah, there'll be a way of making it work. The next match is, I'll be going through these quickly because there's a lot to go through. Triple threat tag team match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. So Gallus, which is Mark Coffey and Wolfgang of the champions, versus the Creed brothers, Brutus Creed and Julius Creed, with Ivy Nile in their corner, versus the D'Angelo family, which is Tony D'Angelo and Channing Snacks Lorenzo, or just known as Snacks. I have a feeling they're going to give this to Gallus, because I think they'll want to give Pretty Deadly the titles back for a bit, and Pretty Deadly are feuding with Gallus. So let Gallus win, Pretty Deadly come out at the end, set up the next NXT special, and you'll have that. So then Gallus can either go up to the main roster or stay in NXT, and then when Pretty Deadly ready, they can go up. So yeah, I think Gallus is going to win. That should be a good match. The next match is a fatal 5-way match for the NXT North American title. This is Wesley versus Dragon Lee versus JD McDonough versus Ilya Dragunov versus Axiom. Now, Wesley is the champion here, and I think Wesley is retaining, but I really like Ilya Dragunov, and I want Ilya Dragunov to do well. So him winning the North American title would do wonders for him. And I think he should be the person to beat Wesley. Let them have a... And I know Dragon Lee, it's his first match in NXT, and they might want to push him. But I don't think they should, especially not in a 5-way match. Because unless you want to keep Wesley strong and then Dragon Lee pins somebody else, maybe Axiom, but I don't think... I do think Wesley is retaining, though. The next is a tag team match for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championship, and that is Fallon Henley and Kiana James with Josh Briggs and Brooks Jensen versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Now, the story with this is that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are like weird fairy people. Not fairies, they're like witches. And they are going to be and they've had like a weird feud with Henley and Kiana James. But then Henley and Kiana James have been involved with the thing with JB and BJ, where it's there's like something going, like they're trying to date each other, but then there's like this mysterious person who's been announced, and maybe they'll cost them the belt. And yeah, I have a feeling that they might put it on Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn, because Kaylee Ray hasn't had a title in a while through his Alba Fyre, so giving her something to do would be helpful, and especially it will elevate her to eventually go into the main title picture like she did last year, because there was the Fatal 4-Way match last year that she was in, and that was good. The next match is the ladder match for the NXT Women's Championship, the vacant at time of thingy NXT Women's Championship, because Roxanne Perez collapsed and apparently is actually injured. Like, the collapse was a fake collapse, but she actually injured something. This is Zoe Stark versus Gigi Dolan versus Tiffany Stratton versus Lara Valkyria versus Indy Hartwell. And yeah, ladder match. Roxanne Perez could be added to this as like a extra entrant and be like, hooray, or she just appears at the end. I think they've been pushing Zoe Stark for a while. I don't like Zoe Stark, but I think they're going to give it to her. I'd rather it be Gigi Dolan, because I think her push is more deserving, because Toxic Attraction were very good, and Gigi Dolan winning would actually... I think there's more opportunities for Gigi Dolan winning for stories than there would be for Zoe Stark, honestly. But I think that Zoe Stark's going to win here, and I could see her easily lose it back to Roxanne Perez. The next match is... Actually, no, I'll do the one above it first, because I feel like this will be the main event. Johnny Gargano versus Grayson Waller in an unsanctioned match. Now, this has a bit of story to it, in the fact that Grayson Waller's the person who got rid of Johnny Gargano from NXT before Johnny Gargano went to the main roster. Before he was released, actually. I think they're going to give this to Grayson Waller, because I think Johnny Gargano winning makes no sense. I think giving it to Grayson Waller allows, like, it's pushing him, and it allows him to get some stock to maybe go into the North American title, or even the main title if they want to push him that much. And especially as they've been, like, putting Shawn Michaels in quite prominently in this feud. They're trusting Grayson Waller with the kind of like this big screen time that they want. So I have a feeling that, yeah, Grayson Waller will win. And the final match for NXT, I think, it's a singles match for the NXT Championship, which is Bron Breakker as the champion versus Kamala Hayes with Trick Williams in his corner. Now, Bron Breakker has been a champion for a while now. He's been champion since the Raw after Mania last year. He took it off Dolph. I think this is the time to put Bron Breakker on the main roster properly and solidify Carmelo Hayes as the next big thing. And Carmelo Hayes winning here will do a lot for him. So, yeah, I think Carmelo Hayes will win here. This looks like it will be a good show, I think. But I'd rather... Oh, just noticed on the poster for Standard Delivery, it's still got Roxanne Perez on. That's interesting. I'll just get up WrestleMania 39. The planned matches for this event. So this is all the confirmed matches. There's some that have been confirmed for certain nights. So I'll do the ones from the confirmed nights, and then I'll just go through all the other ones that have been announced, but nobody knows where it's going yet. So for night one, currently, the singles match for the United States Championship, and that is Austin Theory versus John Cena. Now, there's a temptation to put it on John Cena, and then the next night on Raw, Bron Breakker beats him, or Jay White, or Zach, or Matt Cardona, and they become the new US champion. Gives them a big thing of beating John Cena. But that severely limits Austin Theory. And if this is going to be a passing of the torch style match, which I think they're aiming it to be, and it's opening the show, Austin Theory winning makes sense. Because then you can push him, and then he has like a character thing of, I beat John Cena, I'm the new John Cena. And then what I'd want to happen, because apparently they might be pushing Chad Gable. Is Chad Gable on this card? He is. I'll talk about it later. But there'll be a plan for Austin Theory. But yeah, Austin Theory to win here, I think. The only other match on night one that has been announced is Seth freaking Rollins versus Logan Paul in a singles match. Now, the whole point of this, so this feud has been basically, Logan Paul's knocked out Seth Rollins quite a bit, and it's just kind of, like, he's just kept doing it. And so, I assume there'll be a spot in the match where Logan will hit Seth Rollins, so Rollins will be knocked out, 1, 2, either kick out or like Seth puts his arm or foot on the ropes, and it'll break the pin. This should be an amazing match, because Logan Paul's an amazing wrestler, terrible human being, but amazing wrestler. Logan Paul, I don't think is winning this, because every other match he's been in, apart from the Roman one, he's won. I think they'll give it to Seth here, because the storyline necessitates it. I mean, I guess if Seth loses, he still looks good in defeat, because the match will be so good, but, yeah. And he lost at last Mania. He's lost at a few Manias recently, hasn't he? Because last year he lost to Cody. Year before he lost to Cesaro. Year before he lost to Kevin Owens. 35, he won. Yeah. So yeah, he hasn't won in like 4 years at Mania. So giving him a win now will be useful. And the only match on night 2 currently, which is more than likely going to be the main event, I assume it will be, is Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman in his corner versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Now, everyone wanted this to be Sami. I wanted it to be Sami. I'd have been fine with it being Sami, Cody, Roman, which I think I said last month for Elimination Chamber. But I have a feeling, like, because they're keeping this as a singles thing and Roman's going away, Cody's winning. I know there's the temptation to let Roman reach the 1,000-day reign, but wouldn't it be much nicer and much sweeter that Cody just stopped Roman? Just stopped him before he got that too powerful. And I think you could then revisit this feud, so then when Roman does come back, he can say, you stopped me. You stopped me from getting that 1,000 days. That really annoyed me, that did. And then you can just continue the feud. I wouldn't say Roman gets the title back off him. I don't think that would be... Like, let Roman go away from the title picture for a couple of years, potentially. But, because you could do more interesting stuff without the title. Like, a lot of the Sami stuff was, like, until, like, between Royal Rumble and Elimination Chamber, wasn't about the title. Like, the Roman and Sami stuff was about the family. And you can continue that. You can carry that on. But yeah, Cody Rhodes should win. I did hear an interesting theory that you could do Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at SummerSlam and Jey beats him. And Jey's, because then everything comes full circle to Roman's first feud coming back and being champion. But yeah, I think Cody Rhodes is winning here. And it's the whole, his dad wanted the WWE title and he'll get that. And it's likely Cody will split the two belts because he's like, I don't deserve to have both of these. I'll have the WWE one. Let the Universal one go to SmackDown type thing. Right, so now on to the to-be-announced matches. I'll just go through all of these. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown title. With Charlotte as the face and Rhea as the heel, which is weird. And somehow they've made it work. Somehow Charlotte, well, apart from this week, from the most recent SmackDown, Charlotte was booed, but she had mixed reaction. But for a long while, they've actually kind of made it work in Charlotte being a face. Weirdly, I think it's mainly because Rhea's had Dom on her side, and everybody hates Dom, but for a good reason. That kind of thing. So Rhea kind of has been hated because of that. But like Rhea is just cool, and yeah, Rhea's winning here. Like they like to just let Charlotte lose the title to gain it back. Charlotte will be the one to beat Ric Flair's record. I think. I don't think it's time anymore for Cena to do it. I don't think Cena should then that's a proper passing of the torch that Charlotte has beat her dad, and so then you can just focus on Charlotte now rather than, oh, will she do it? Will she? Or who will do it? It makes sense if it's Charlotte, I think. So then her losing it to Rhea works. And yeah. And considering that like Rhea hasn't really she's looked strong, but kind of like I think she needs this to like fully like solidify the whole Judgment Day stuff. But yeah. Bianca Belair versus Asuka for the Raw Women's title. Now it seems that I'm suggesting, apart from Austin Theory, it looks like I'll be suggesting a lot of title changes on this show, which is likely to happen, I think, because apparently Triple H has a year planned after this, like a whole year for everything, somehow. So presumably either he wants a blank slate and so yeah, there's like the US title I think is staying on Austin Theory. I think Asuka is winning here because either Asuka wins here or Bianca turns heel. One of the two is happening. Like that's a certainty, I feel, at this point. Because Asuka has been booked strong since her return at the Rumble. Like with her, I can't remember the name of the character she had in Japan, but it's the same character, but they just call her Asuka. And Bianca has been a champion for the entire year since Mania, since beating Becky. And people are starting to turn on her, kind of. Starting to, because she's just a babyface who wins a lot. She's starting to do people are starting to go, oh, Cena wins lol, Bianca wins lol, type thing. So I think Asuka winning here is good because Asuka has been injured for a long while. She came back at the Rumble, and the last time she was here, she was champ. Well, she lost the title and then had to go, and then she was injured. So I think having her be champion, because she was champion the last time she was champion, she won the title at WrestleMania 37 off Rhea. And then she held it for quite a bit and then lost it to Charlotte, I think. Yeah. And she hasn't been champion since. I believe. I might be wrong. But yeah, Asuka winning here would be good. The next match, a singles match, which they've actually kind of made quite a spectacle of, despite it being a weird match to book, is Brock Lesnar versus Omos with MVP in Omos' corner. Because for any opponent that you'd think could go against Brock Lesnar at Mania, and they had a few, they had Wyatt suggested, Stone Cold suggested, Bobby as a rematch suggested, Gunther. They went with Omos. And you'd think, oh, Omos isn't very good. But they've actually booked this in kind of an interesting way, in that this is kind of like two big men, and it's like they've put some intrigue in this, and will Brock be able to lift Omos for an F5? And I assume that Brock Lesnar's winning here. You can't have Omos winning here. Surely not. Brock Lesnar lifting Omos and F5ing him will get it'll be like an Andre the Hogan Andre spot, like lifting him and actually being able to properly move him, that will get like a huge pop, no matter where it's placed in the card, on what day, no matter where. But yeah, Brock Lesnar has to win it shortly. And the rumors are Brock Lesnar's retiring, but I don't know why. I don't know. Well, the next match is a triple threat match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. And this is Gunther, who's the champion, versus Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre. Now, Gunther, obviously, as I suggested, Gunther Brock was a potential match, and you could easily still do that. Gunther Brock for the IC title at SummerSlam. Or you could have Sheamus win here, or Drew win here. I'm going to go with Sheamus winning, because then it gives him the Grand Slam, and it then kind of reinforces the Clash at the Castle match as like I needed to beat you because you beat me here. So then Sheamus can beat Gunther. Then they maybe have a rubber match at a next pay-per-view, like the final match, because there'd be one apiece. Drew can go off and do something. I don't know. Sheamus can, maybe Drew goes into the title picture against Cody, who knows. Turn Drew heel somehow. Sheamus, I think pinning Gunther, you could then, if they want to do the potential Gunther Brock at SummerSlam, if Brock doesn't retire, you could then have, Sheamus Gunther at Backlash or Money in the Bank, and then Gunther beats Sheamus again, Brock Lesnar comes out, then you can do that feud. Because they teased it at the Rumble, which means they're going to do it, because why would they tease it and then never do it and have Brock retire? That makes no sense. Have Gunther retire Brock at SummerSlam by beating him. Because then Gunther can then go off and be huge. So Sheamus to win for this one. Next match, Trish, Lita, and Becky Lynch versus Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Now, this was weird because they were meant to debut Trish. They were meant to return, Trish was meant to return for a few weeks, but then just kept getting sent home, and then she did, and then this match has been announced. I think Trish, Lita, and Becky are winning, I think, because let them all it'll be a feel-good moment to have them all work together and win. And because I think Damage Control are going to break down, either Bayley turns on the other two, Io turns on the other two, Bayley and Io turn on Dakota turns on them. I think it's that they're breaking down the Mania. And it reinforces the Triple H I have a year planned, because then you can do Dakota versus Io, Dakota versus Bayley versus Io, that kind of, The Hell in a Cell match is next, which is Edge versus Finn Balor. Demon Finn Balor, apparently. And this will be the final Edge versus Judgment Day match. And this is apparently going to be Edge's final Mania. Because he says he's retiring this year, and he wants to retire in Toronto this year, which is around the summer, I think, when they go to Toronto. Have Finn beat Edge? Because then Finn beating Edge in his final Mania match, again, with the Rhea thing, it solidifies Judgment Day. And then Edge can go off and be angry that he lost and go against somebody else. I don't know who you'd put him against, but yeah. The next match is a Women's WrestleMania Showcase Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match, which is Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler versus one team to be announced. I don't know who that team is going to be. I have no idea. They'll probably announce it Friday, most likely. Or tomorrow. They could announce it tomorrow. It's Sunday as I'm recording this. I think Ronda and Shayna are winning here. Because even though this match doesn't have stakes, and I assume it's just to get people on the card, I have a feeling they're going to announce that this is going to be like whoever wins this will then challenge who are the champions? Is it Lita and Becky? Lita and Becky for the tag titles. And I think if they're putting Ronda in the tag division, surely they're going to put belts on her. And Ronda says she wants her and Shayna to win those belts. So I have a feeling they will. Like whoever this one team to be announced will be, I don't think that's going to matter because I think Ronda and Shayna are just going to win anyway. That should be a good match, especially with the people involved. Well, maybe not Natalya, but yeah. The next match is the men's version of this, the Fatal 4-Way Tag match, which is Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, versus Alpha Academy, Chad Gable and Otis, versus the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar with Valhalla. Now, I think Street Profits win here, and then they go off to face whoever. They go off to face. They go off to face. They go off to face whoever wins the tag team titles, which I'll get to next. And then you can do the Angelo Montez breakup spot if you want. After they've won the titles and maybe lose them, Angelo costs them the titles later down the line. Montez gets angry, turns on him. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, I think the Street Profits are winning here. And Alpha Academy, I think, are going to be the reason. I think the reason why, because I'd have gone with Alpha Academy, but I've had the idea about, which I mentioned earlier. So Otis is like in the thing with the Maximum Male Models, and he wants Maxine Dupree wants him to become Otis. I think this is where Otis will turn. Otis will walk out on the match with Maxine. Chad will get angry, turn around, is hit by the Street Profits, and then that's how they win. And yeah, I assume this will again be announced to be you'll be in the tag title match. As I said earlier, they make it if they're gonna do the passing of the torch with Austin Theory and John Cena, with Austin becoming the new John Cena, and he claims that after he's won. I think you then do, if they're pushing Chad Gable as a single star, which apparently they're planning to do, have Chad Gable be the one to beat Austin Theory, because then you've got Chad Gable, who is the new Kurt Angle, beating the new John Cena. The story writes itself. And it lets Chad Gable be champion, a singles champion, which we want. Because shoosh. Thank you. The next match is for the Tag Team Championship, as I said before. The Usos, Jey Uso and Jimmy, who are the champions, versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now, this story has been beautiful. This story has been like a year in the making. Technically 3 years if you include all the Jey stuff as well. But this is the whole Sami being with the Bloodline, helping the Bloodline, Roman not trusting him, none of the others trusting him. Sami kind of fully trusting when he attacked Kevin Owens at War Games. And then Sami turned on Roman, helped Kevin. Kevin refused to help. Kevin refused to to team with Sami to fight the Usos, but then last week they hugged and they're together and this match has been made official. I think Kevin and Sami are winning here. They can't not. Especially, if you're having the Bloodline collapse, let it happen here. Because if Sami Zayn doesn't win at Mania, considering the crowd response he gets, that's going to be... It'll be a bad booking decision. Triple H will not look well for that. And then obviously you can then do Kevin breaks up with Sami like he always does. Or Sami does with Kevin, perhaps. Do it the other way. That'd be fun. The final match that's on here, and I think that's because it's only just been announced, as of Friday. is Rey versus Dominic Mysterio. I think this will... So the whole thing is obviously Dom has turned heel, all this, been to prison, that kind of thing. And Rey has refused to fight Dom because Dom wants to fight Rey. Rey doesn't want to fight Dom because Dom is his son. Until last week, until Friday, when Dominic insulted his mum and Rey finally attacked him. The pop was huge. And I think they've had this planned for years. Like, the plan everybody thinks for Rey retiring is that Dom beats him, takes his mask, passing of the torch. I think this is a passing of the torch mania. It's quite clearly going to be that, I think. Dom, I think at the Hall of Fame speech, because Rey's being inducted, I think when Rey gives his speech, Dom jumps him. Just Dom. Not the Judgment Day. Not the rest of them. Just Dom. Dom jumps Rey. And then Dom, on the mic, during the Hall of Fame, says, I want your career. And then that's what... And then, like, at the beginning of the match at WrestleMania, Rey's like, no, I don't want this. And then eventually, like, Dom goads him and Rey goes, okay, fine. If you beat me, you get my mask and my career. And then if Rey beats Dom, something. But yeah, Rey's not beating Dom. I think Rey's retiring. I think this is the time to retire Rey. And then when Dom turns face, let Dom win. Because that'll be a huge match. They seem to like Dom. They seem to trust Dom as a heel. And having Dom beat Rey, and Dom's the one who retired Rey, he could be a heel for like a few years based off of that. And then eventually you could bring Rey back when Dom turns face and Rey can be his manager and kind of be like, oh, this is what I wanted for you, son, that kind of thing. I'm glad you retired me because look at the man you've become, that kind of thing. But yeah, I think Dom's going to win there. And I think that's quite an apropos way of finishing that up. Yeah. I think this should be a good weekend of wrestling. I think the Mania, none of the matches at Mania, apart from maybe the women's showcase match, look particularly like they're going to not be good. Like, even Brock Omos I'm interested in. My only issue is that there's a lot of it. Which there always is. But yeah, in terms of this, I won't be watching NXT Stand and Deliver, I don't think. I'll keep tabs on it, but I won't be watching it. Night 1 I'm busy watching, so I can't watch that, but I'll keep tabs on that. Night 2 I shall be watching, probably. I'll probably be watching it with my friend Ryden. Hello, Ryden. We watched the Royal Rumble together. That was a great show. Well, 2 great matches. Yeah, but thank you for watching, and FOL.